So we just barely got a brand new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and in my first video on this new information, I talked about a lot of key details you might have missed from the trailer, and I talked briefly about the reveal of the Paldea region map that was included in this info drop. I mentioned in that video that I would probably be getting a little more heavily into that map with the analysis in a future video, and that is exactly what I am here to do today. I figured I would give my personal take on what this map is showing us and see if we can try to extract some further information from the game about it, like where the gyms are going to be, how many towns there are, what typings those gym leaders are going to have, and so on. This is going to be a fun one, so without further ado, let's get into it. So all this new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news is hype, and today's video on it is brought to you in part by today's wonderful sponsor, Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. Bloodline is a free-to-play fantasy RPG for iOS and Android, which offers the unique mechanic of combining the bloodlines of various character classes to allow you to create your own unique champions. In Bloodline Heroes of Lithis, new legends will be born as you navigate a world filled with beautiful 3D graphics, which also provide a relaxing mobile experience thanks to the game's easy controls and vertical screen gameplay. The unique gacha gameplay will allow you to merge the bloodlines of various classes, such as Dragonborn, Orcs, Lycans, and Demons, to create new heirs that will help you best achieve your style of gameplay, with endless possibilities. To create your heirs, you can choose from a host of companions that best match what you're looking for, and the stronger your relationship with them, the more powerful your new heir will be, and you can even continue to develop your family tree until you have the ultimate champion with all the best traits. You can try out Bloodline Heroes of Lithis for free today simply by using the link in the description below or by scanning the QR code on screen. You can also use this gift code to get 1 champion token, 100,000 gold, and 100 diamonds just for downloading through my link. So give it a whirl for free today, and a big thank you to Bloodline Heroes of Lithis for supporting the channel. Alrighty, so getting into the map now, the first thing that I wanted to touch on are the number of towns that it looks like we'll be able to expect from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and the Paldea region. Based on this map, it seems like we've got 10 towns to eventually discover throughout our adventure, which is a pretty good number. If we zoom in really close here, and by the way, I gotta give a shout out to Birdkeeper Toby for sending me this super high resolution version of the map, we can see town number 1 right here, the big central town, which is the second town it looks like you'll come to right here, town number 3, town number 4, town number 5, town number 6, town number 7 at the top of this mountain, town number 8 on the other side of it, town number 9, and then over here, I missed it the first time, town number 10. All in all, that is a pretty good number of towns, I feel like, and it offers a bunch of different locales in addition to the wide open landscapes that I think are going to be a lot of fun to explore, especially for someone like me who really enjoys the towns and cities in Pokemon. In addition to the towns, though, there are also a lot of other cool and interesting landmarks that we can see as well, like this interesting rock formation, this other interesting rock formation. We've also got this interesting building that's on the mountainside here that is kind of off on its own. We've also got this little secret beach over here that's got a Pokemon Center, so we can assume that we'll be able to access it, and it's just kind of tucked away here. There are a lot of different little nooks and crannies to this map that look like they're going to be explorable in addition to just the general open landscapes and the towns and cities, which is probably just going to make for a really fun experience when it comes to exploring this map. And now I want to get into the gyms of this region and where we can expect them and what types they are going to be. If you do the math, we've got 10 towns and cities, as I said. There's 8 gyms, so that means 8 of the 10 towns and cities have got to have a gym occupying them. And I am pretty sure I know which cities and towns have one. It seems to be the case that the first 2 towns you come to, this little town right here and then the big central town, do not have gyms, meaning that every other town and city after this, with one minor exception we'll get into later, will have a gym of some kind. The first gym you will come to if you were to travel through this region in the quote-unquote natural order seems to be this one right here. Now this city is interesting because we've actually most likely seen the area surrounding it in the second trailer for Scarlet and Violet, because this very much looks like the location where we were introduced to Smoliv. And if we look at the town in particular, it's got a lot of greenery to it. It's also got its Pokemon battlefield with a green Pokeball highlighting it, which is another indication that this town is not only going to house a gym, but most likely is going to have a grass type gym. Since Smoliv is also grass type itself, that just makes sense, and the reason why we know there's going to be a gym in this location, aside from the math we did earlier, is because of this building right here. It seems to be the case that these buildings, based on what we can see on the map and what we were able to see in the latest trailer, are in fact the gyms, and then over here is the actual battlefield where the main battles with the gym leaders are held. At least that's what it seems like anyway. So that helps us determine that there is a gym here, and that this particular city is most likely going to have a grass type gym. Moving along, the next city we are going to come to here is this one, and we know there is a gym in this city once again, thanks to this distinctive looking building as well as the battlefield that we can see right here. When it comes to what type this gym is going to be, my personal best guess is probably Ghost. And the reason why I say Ghost is because the battlefield is purple in color, which is a Ghost type color, and the city itself is in kind of a deserty location, and the desert combined with the Ghost type just make for a good combination because it kind of gives you those ghost town type of vibes. Additionally, however, I could see this gym being a Psychic type gym as well, because Psychic tends to have a more purplish hue to its color as well, which this battlefield seems like it could fit with, and there's also an interesting dome that sits above this battlefield, which could be kind of mystical in nature. So I feel like either Ghost or Psychic is a strong candidate for this city's gym. Next up, we are going to move up the coast and come to, where is it? We're going to come to this city right here, and this one is fairly obvious as to what its gym is going to specialize in, and that would be the water type. First off, we've got the blue battlefield right here. It's obviously a very aquatic type city. It's almost an oasis with the desert right here, and we can also see it has a gym thanks to, once again, this distinctive gym looking building. So overall, this one is a pretty safe bet that it is going to be a water type gym. The next city that we're going to look at is this one, and this is actually the exception that I was talking about earlier, because according to our math that we did previously, with 10 cities and towns and 8 gyms, that would mean that there's only 2 towns that cannot have a gym, and we determined that those were the first 2 towns that you come across on your adventure, meaning that this city right here should have a gym. However, I'm not so sure that it does. First off, it does not have that distinctive looking building that we can identify as a gym building like the other cities have, and also there's another location that I believe is a gym that isn't really associated with a city either, and that would be clear on the other side of the map right here. While this area does not seem to be a proper city or town, it does have a battlefield which that previous city I just showed off does not have. And while it doesn't have the distinctive gym-looking building either, we have seen this location in multiple trailers at this point, even when it seems like the trailers are trying to highlight where the gyms are going to be. So while this one isn't 100% for sure because it's kind of the exception to the rule we have established here, it does seem to me personally like it's probably our best bet as to where the next gym is going to be. And as far as what type it would specialize in, well, given this fairly deserty, sandy area, I think it's safe to say that it would probably house a ground type gym. Getting back to things that are more of a sure thing though, if we go south from here, we will next come to this town. And while initially I was thinking that this was going to be the place for the grass type gym, given this is a fairly grassy area and it's got this nice hedge maze here, this city is definitely going to play host to a fire type gym. And the reason why I say that is A, once again, we've got our gym building right here, and B, we can actually make out where this city is in the trailers, because if we just go up the trail right here, we'll come to these red flags that are sitting on some little hills. And we have definitely seen these flags in the trailer before, and in the trailer we can clearly see that they seem to represent the fire type. And with these flags seemingly providing a gateway to this town that is just around the bend, it seems very likely, in my opinion, that this city is indeed going to play host to a fire-type gym. Next up, if we backtrack a little bit and pick up where we left off from this water-based city, we'll see another city just over this ridge here. And this city is interesting because while we can tell that it does have a gym thanks to the gym building right here, this city doesn't really give off any distinctive vibes as far as a type goes that this gym could specialize in. It seems that this city is connected to this observatory-like location right here, and given that and the general area and landscape that surrounds it, I have got a few possible guesses as to what the typing of this particular gym could be. This one is definitely the one that's the most up in the air as far as these predictions go, but with that being said, I think we could possibly have a rock-type gym here due to the rocky mountain that this city sits against. We could possibly have a flying type gym due to, once again, this observatory sitting out in all this cloudy open air here, or we could potentially even have a dragon type gym. And the reason why I say a dragon type gym, because it seems like this observatory and then this whole area here, it looks very mysterious and significant. And when it comes to mystery and significance in Pokemon, the dragon type is usually a type that fits well with those qualities. So while it's definitely not confirmed and I'm not all too sure about it, I could see it happening. Next up, if we go all the way up the mountain here to the very tippy top, we'll find another city with a gym tower, and this one is obviously going to be an ice-type gym. Not only can we tell that from it being on top of a snowy mountain and the icy blue color of the battlefield right here, but this is a gym that we actually saw in the trailer, and we even met the gym leader, Grusha, so this one has already been confirmed. There is just one more city and gym to cover now, and it is off the eastern slopes of this mountain, right about here. And this one is another one that is a little bit tricky, because while we can see the gym tower right here, this city doesn't really give off a whole lot of vibes as to what its specialty type could be. The closest that would come to mind right off the bat would be maybe water, because once again it's in a watery area, but we already determined that that other city housed the water area from before. So we're gonna have to look a little closer to try and guess what type this city's gym could be, and after a little bit of a closer inspection, I personally feel like this gym in this city could be a steel type gym. If we look at the city in particular, it looks fairly high-tech, the buildings look fairly futuristic, and this is especially so with the little glimpse of it that we get in the newest trailer. And with that glimpse in the trailer, it seems absolutely possible, at the very least to me personally, that this city could house a Steel-type gym. And with that said, that covers all of the towns and all of the gyms in those respective towns. I feel like I've got a pretty good prediction going here, with only a couple that I'm not really too sure about. But you guys are definitely going to have to let me know all your ideas in the comments below, because once again, these are just predictions. Anything could happen, and I could also be totally off. It's not just about the cities and towns when it comes to this map though, because there are a couple more interesting things that I wanted to touch on, starting with the northeastern edge of the map right about here. If we look at this area in relation to the entire map as a whole, we can see that the whole rest of the Paldea region is surrounded by coastline, surrounded by ocean, except for right here in the northeastern corner where land continues off of the edge of the map itself and is very conveniently covered by clouds. It's also very convenient that if we look to the Paldea region's real-life counterpart, which is Spain, the place that connects to the northeastern corner of it, which would equate to this area of the Paldea region map, is none other than France, whose Pokemon counterpart is the Kalos region. Now, I'm not trying to say that this means that we're going to be able to travel to Kalos in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. However, I definitely can say with relative certainty that Game Freak knew what they were doing with having this part of the region have land that extends off the map in this specific location. I think as far as the canon is concerned, that more or less confirms that at the very least there is land that connects to the Kalos region behind these clouds here, which is pretty cool. The thing that we can't say though is whether or not this means we'll actually get to see the Kalos region in the Scarlet and Violet games. I really would love it, as would many other people, but it's such a big request at the same time, and it would be such a huge and difficult thing to pull off that I just don't know if we can reasonably expect it. But the fact that this exists right here, at the very least, kinda makes it canon in terms of its connection to Kalos, which, like I said, is pretty cool. And finally, the last thing I wanted to get into with this map in this video is this big ol' central mountain, swirly cloud looking thing. This is obviously very important due to its size, due to its mysterious nature, and due to the fact that it sits right smack dab in the middle of the region. The one thing we can't really say at this time about it though is what is it and what does it mean? Well, while there is not a lot to go off of here, given that it obviously looks important, and given that its cloud formation has sort of a mysterious nature to it, and a bit of a mystical look, if you will, I could potentially see this as actually a time portal of sorts. The reason why I say that is because we know that there is a time theme in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with a focus on the future and the past, and we know that's going to play a role in the story in some way in these games. So if we've got a theme and a focus on time and possibly time travel, and then this big vortex looking thing in the center of the region, it definitely seems logical to conclude that this vortex could actually be a portal to another time, possibly the past for Pokemon Scarlet or the future for Pokemon Violet. I personally think that would be absolutely amazing, and I think that's going to be my personal hope for what this is, but ultimately it could also be a bunch of other things as well, so we are just going to have to wait and see. And there we have it, everybody. That was my take on a map breakdown for the new Paldea region map in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Hopefully this covered some stuff that you missed initially, and what are your overall thoughts on all of this information? Let me know all of your takes in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Pokemon content and more Scarlet and Violet content as well. With that being said, I'll be back with another new video very soon, and until the next one, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.